What's up, y'all? The first patch of set 12 is live, so today I'm going to go over the top 30 augments to take at the start of the game and what to play with them. For more comps to play in set 12, check out my latest video, 5 comps you need to know. Without further ado, let's go. Starting off with gold augments, in first place is support golem. And if you go here to enable prismatic, you'll notice the best prismatic is also support golem. And if you go to enable silver, you'll notice that the best silver is also stationary support. So stationary support 1 reads after a player combats, gain a 1 movable training dummy with a random permanently attached support item. You'll get your dummy at the start of 3-5, which is right after the second carousel. At gold, we go to support golem 1, where you instantly get a movable golem equipped with 1 random item. At prismatic, the golem will come with 2 equipped. The support items you get are completely random and cannot be changed. The dummy and the golems also scale up in HP and stats over stages. These augments are very strong because they each provide you with an extra body of frontline, and the support items are very strong in general after numerous buffs. Notably, Needlessly Big Gem got a rework, giving a base 10% damage amp buff to your entire team, and then it stacks up to 25% every second, rather than happening all at once. The Randuin's Omen Augment, a movable object, becomes incredibly strong if you get another Randuin somewhere, including the golems. This is even more powerful if you use units like Wukong who scale with armor and MR. Additionally, Banshee's Veil can help you skip Quicksilver on melee carries like Caston and Fiora. Next up is School Mascot. School Mascot gives you an Elise and a Syndra, makes your Eldritch Summon hold beneficial items, and gives them a stat buff. The Tier 1 Summon Daisy gets a Titan's Resolve, Tier 2 Malphite gets a Death Cap and a Bloodthirster, and Tier 3 Volibear holds a Death Cap and an Anima Visage, giving him lots of health regeneration. This augment is so powerful because of everything combined, giving you Eldritch starter units at 2-1 if you have any other Eldritch, base stats, and items on your summon. The items given to the summon make it very tanky, becoming a great source of extra frontline. Of course, you'll know how to play this augment if you are playing Eldritch, especially going for an Eldritch 7. For Eldritch 7, you need either a Spatula or Divine Briar, and you're usually playing a mix of Nami or Cindercarry or both with Briar as well. Press the attack. Your multi-striker's attacks apply a stack on their target for 5 seconds. Every third stack deals true damage equal to 5.5% of the target's max health, gain a Caston and an Ashe as well. So this augment is very powerful in getting that extra damage because multi-striker reroll is very strong right now. It's definitely one of the top comps, and giving you a Caston and an Ashe for that early game helps a ton. Especially because you're always rolling for Caston 3 and you would not mind an Ashe 3 at all. This works perfectly with the multi-striker passive, meaning you get those stacks up extremely quickly, and there's no cooldown on the stack proccing at all. The board is simply rerolling for Caston and then 7 multi-strikers as soon as possible. Too healthy, your team gains 90 health for each unique 2-cost champion on your board. So for this augment, by far and above, the best comp is Kog'Maw reroll, but you play the variant that includes Kog'Maw, Nunu, Tristana, and Rumble, with Nunu and 1 carry being the priority, and then the other carry and Rumble being a second priority. Rumble isn't necessary, but the other 3 are. You want to reroll on level 6 to get the best odds, but to include all of your traits, you actually want to be level 7. On level 6, you usually play Lilia because the Bastion trait is very valuable for keeping your frontline alive, and also you can put the crown on Tristana for damage amp. Then once you 3-star your carry as a Nunu, you can add in Jinx, and then you can either push levels for more Bastions and Legendaries, or you can reroll Jinx as a 3rd carry. Sweet Tooth is the Nunu hero augment. It will give you a Nunu, and then your strongest Nunu will gain 200 health, 2% damage amp per 100 health, and his heal scales with his health instead. Additionally, whenever his ability kills an enemy, Nunu permanently gains 35 health. So in this augment, you're also going to be playing the Kog'Maw Trist Nunu reroll. The only difference is that your best items are slightly changed. Nunu instead wants a Bloodthirster and a high emphasis on HP items like Warmogs instead. This just gives you a very strong super tank in Nunu, who is already your tank in the 2 healthy variation. You can play stuff like Veigar carry or 5Bs, but I think Kog'Maw has a much higher success rate. Pilfer. Gain 5 gold, and each round gain a 1-star copy of the first champion you killed last combat. I believe this is an extremely strong econ augment. First of all, getting 5 gold as soon as you click it is very good. This will almost always get you to 10 or 20 at 2-1, giving you that interest breakpoint. But additionally, based on your positioning, the opponents you face, and your luck, you'll gain a ton of gold from this augment. Since it gives you a 1-star copy of the first champion killed, you want to be scouting every round for the matchups in your pool and see which unit they have left open tanking on the left or right side of the center. Check all of your matchups and then stack all of your units on the left or right side to kill one unit as fast as possible on whichever side has their highest cost unit in the front line. This will make it so you can secure the kill on the most expensive unit possible, maximizing your augments. Very often, they will have a 2-starred main tank in the middle, and then they'll put higher cost frontliners to the sides, so take advantage of this by scouting and positioning well. At 2-1, you have 7 potential people you can face, but pretty often there will be people who have no 3 costs or 2 costs exposed on their board, and a lot of people who do. So take a look at the people who do, note what side their expensive units on, and start counting which side is going to be better for you to place your units. If done effectively, this augment can generate you a ton of cash, making it an extremely strong gold augment. Spellblades. Whenever one of your champions casts, their next attack deals bonus damage equal to 175% of their ability power. This is just a ton of damage for all AP carries, but is especially good on units that have a lot of attack speed, which you build on them, and units that cast a lot with low mana costs. This is especially the case with Incanners and blue buff holders. With Incanners being super powerful this patch, this is probably the best combat augment for damage you can get. It is extremely powerful in both the Incanter reroll and Karma carry comps. If you don't know how to play those yet, make sure to check out both guides in my last video. All that shimmers. Open an armory and choose a gold generating artifact item and gain a magnetic remover. Your max interest is increased to 7. This is a mix of an Econ augment and a combat augments. The real secret to why this augment is so powerful is because Mogul's Mail got reworked and is very powerful. It is the best artifact in the game with an average placement of 4.08. It gives you 200 health and grants 1 armor, magic resist, and 7 health when taking damage, stacking up to 35 times. At full stacks, it grants 1 gold immediately and continues to gain 1 gold every 6 seconds. So now there's that added bonus gold if you stall throughout the fight, and in the early game this is really easy to do, especially with super strong tanks like Vex, who gives herself a shield, and Nico, who gives herself HP and a ton of healing. The other options are Gambler's Blade and Collector. Gambler's Blade is pretty good on attack speed carries like Cassio, Jinx, Callista, and Ryze, but I'd still take Mogul's Mail over it, whereas Gold Collector is just not very good this patch. So I think in most cases you'll be taking Mogul's Mail as it's just super flexible. Gain 1 random emblem. At the start of every stage, gain a random emblem. Your team gains 25 health for each emblem they are holding. So every single stage, starting in stage 2, when you take it, you'll get a random emblem. It is completely random and is not influenced by the emblems you got before. You could get 3 of the same emblem in a row, and you would probably win the game instantly. Additionally, your team gets 25 health for every emblem. Emblems are extremely powerful this patch, and getting 1 every stage is overpowered. I'm thinking about making a guide for the best comps for each emblem, so leave a comment down below if you're interested in that. Fortune favors the bold. Winning combat against a player will give bonus orbs. The longer your loss streak, the bigger the payout. The optimal play with this is always to lose streak. Just based on the tables, you get 1 gold for winning without a loss streak. So it being 1 gold per turn and you have to win is not a good gold log. So you're going to want to full loss and then aim to cash out from 9 to 12 losses. I'm displaying the rewards table here, but you can also check it out at tactics.tools. Go to tools and then tables and then fortune. The reward pool that you can get is based on your loss streak, and then there's a percentage chance for each reward. They are all very powerful, but one thing to note is that the 12 loss requires a bit of planning. There's only 1 cash out available, and it gives you a +1 to all traits, 15 gold, and 5 5-cost units. This is very powerful, but can be very dizzying. So if you believe you'll be 1 life after this and you might have trouble transitioning, maybe try to win on the 11 loss instead. General strategy is that you want to aim for an 8 loss streak or more. You want to lose until you have around 2 lives left, taking good losses. So this is around 30 HP. You want to roll down and spend all your money, slam all your items, because you'll get the value back from the cash out. Very high risk, high reward augments, but the rewards are so big from this augment that you almost always want to take it. What you can do before you take this is that you can scout at 2-1 to see any potential loss streakers, because there are augments that will make people lean towards a loss streak. The biggest one is What Doesn't Kill You, which will reward them for losing, as well as Double Down, which will give them more gold if they hold a streak, which is usually a loss streak. So they might sell their whole board in full open to try to slam a loss streak, and if you do the same thing, which you often do to make sure you lose streak, if you guys fight each other and you both have no units on your board, your loss streak actually gets reset to 0. So you don't actually get a win, which means you don't get a cash out of your fortune. Your streak is completely reset to 0, and it's like the entire stage never happened. So you gotta be very careful and scout before you pick this augment, but if you get the payoff and execute well, it's almost a guaranteed top 2. On to the Prismatic Augments. Oh boy. We already talked about Support Golem 2. It has the best average of all augments in the game at 2-1 at a 3.54. That is ridiculous. But next up after that is Prismatic Ticket. Each time your shop is rerolled, you have a 50% chance to gain a free reroll. This augment has been very strong in the past and has also been very weak in the past. There are a few reasons it's so powerful this set in this patch. One is that there are a ton of strong reroll comps, and this comp will give you those 3 stars faster. One is that there are a ton of good reroll comps right now, and this will save you a ton of money. 2 is that the addition of charms, where you get rerolls every 2 or 3 shops based on the stage, actually makes the effect of getting more rerolls even more powerful. In tandem with reason number 3, which is that they made it so that all free rerolls will bank forever. In previous sets when you had Prismatic Ticket, you had to use it on the same turn, otherwise it would expire. But here you can bank them forever and have an infinite amount of rerolls stacked up. Banked. This means if you're low money, you can save the rerolls for later and not grief your econ by buying units. And save your rerolls until you have a charm available, because you can only get 1 charm per turn. This can help you get the most charms possible and the best charms possible. By spacing out your free rerolls using the bank feature, you can get both the best charms and the most charms. You can get the best charms for the round by rolling through more options, and you can get more charms for the entire game by saving your rolls for when they're available. A fourth reason of why it's so good is because it counts every reroll as the chance to generate another one. So this not only counts the natural shop reroll you get at the start of every round, any rerolls you get from pressing the reroll key, but also all free rerolls from charms, and there are a lot available. Minor and Major Wish, all of the Dehance and Enhance rerolls, the ones that flat out give you free rolls, and the biggest offender is Animate Shop. Animate Shop costs 6 gold and rerolls your shop every 2 seconds for 20 seconds, giving you 10 rerolls for only 6 gold. But when you add in Prismatic Ticket, that's a 50% chance on every reroll to get another one, meaning the average is 15 rolls, which costs 30 gold, for only 6 gold. That is a lot of savings. So, Prismatic Ticket, take it in any reroll comp, especially the ones that use a lot of rerolls. Very strong because of the changes in set 12 and the meta right now. Also, it used to be a lot lower chance, 35%, now it's 50. Shimmer Scale Essence, gain a Mogul's Mail in 5 rounds, gain a Gambler's Blade. This is really good because Mogul's Mail is just very strong right now, and Gambler's is pretty nice too. Attack speed is really good on both AD and AP champions right now, and you can also just throw it on Milio late game for more casts, so the pure amount of stats from items and the gold you're getting is just really good. I'm the carry now. Gain a golem with tailored offensive items, it gets stronger at the start of every stage. So it's a golem that has 3 items, and it gains stats every stage. The items equipped are Titans, Bloodthirster, and Crown Guard. And starting at round 5-1, the Bloodthirster upgrades to a Death's Dance. All of the golem augments right now are really good because it adds extra frontline, and in this set, the carries are extremely powerful, while a lot of the frontliners are actually utility units. They sacrifice a lot of innate tankiness in exchange for utility, like the big tanks of Nico, Rakan, Taric, and Diana. These guys all heal and shield their team and themselves. You've also got CC units like Nico again, Shen, and Tahm Kench. So the extra frontline, especially in comps that ramp over time, is extremely strong. The most obvious cases of this are Encanters, anyone using Rageblade, and anyone using Archangel's Staff. But is the Golem actually the carry now? No, but he's pretty tanky. Giant and Mighty. Your team gets larger, gaining 325 health and 5% max health. Almost all augments that buffer your frontline are very strong, especially for ramping comps, but Giant and Mighty is especially strong in Shapeshifters. This is because the Shapeshifter trait directly scales with your max HP. 325 health and 5% max is a ton when multiplied by the Shapeshifter scaling. Shapeshifters are a solid frontline for any comp, but are especially strong in the Cinder Incanter reroll. Multi-Striker Crown. This will give you a Multi-Striker emblem, a Quicksilver, and a Caston. So when you click this, you're going to play Caston reroll, and this can get you 7 Multi-Striker with just 1 Callista, as well as 5 Multi-Striker on level 5 if you're missing a Multi-Striker. This makes your spikes much faster, as 5 multi and 7 multi are extremely powerful. Without the emblem, for 7 multi, you have to hit a Camille, which is really hard because you're rerolling for Cassidon, which means for the majority of the game, you're at a low level, and you won't have much gold to go level 9. So this augment solves that problem, and also gives you a Quicksilver, which is one of Caston's best installed items, and gives you a Caston copy as well. You can also use this to play a Callista Flex comp if you don't find Caston, but Caston reroll is just extremely powerful right now. In the early and mid game, usually play Shen for the Pyro with Akali and the Bastion with Hecarim. And if you hit them, you can also add in Tahm Kench and Xerath for the Arcana bonus where you want to select Hecarim. In theory, Smolder is also a really strong holder of the emblem just because of his ability and attacks, but this is almost never going to come up, so just slam it on whoever you have first. That can cap out your board, especially if you hit like a Pyro emblem as well. Then you can play something like 7 Multi-Striker, 5 Pyro, but that's like a Giga Cap 1 in 100 game scenario. Buried Treasures 3, gain a random item component at the start of the next 6 rounds, including this round. This augment is very strong because all the good comps have a dual carry. 6 extra components will help you get both carries optimized as well as your tank. A lot of people forget about itemizing their tank, but those items are extremely important in this meta. There are also clear winners around which tank items are the best right now, namely Redemption and Dragon's Claw. Having access to so many more components can give you more options in picking optimal items. This is really good at 2-1, but at 3-2 it's often too late, as you're down the full value of your Prismatic for an entire stage. Usually you take this in a lost streak scenario. You'll notice on the side it highlights the Sugarcraft champions. This is because Sugarcraft scales with the amount of components you have. Getting 6 free components will lead to a ton of stacks. This is also very strong in the Portal item payout, which gives you more gold for every item you complete, and in combination with the 3-2 and 4-2 augments, Item Collector 1 and Item Collector 2. These both scale up your team with how many unique items your team is holding. Immovable Object. Gain a Randuin's Omen. Its range is increased by 1 hex, and its effect is increased by 70%. Randuin's Omen is a support item giving the holder 250 health, and at the start of combat, it will grant 30 armor and MR to the holder and adjacent allies. The new 2x range is a ton, covering almost your entire team, and the bonus armor and MR is very powerful for your frontline. This is even better with Wukong, who scales with armor and MR, and melee carry comps like Multi-Strikers and Warriors, which are very strong right now. Additionally, like I said earlier, if you get 2 copies of Randuin's Omen from Augments or the Portal, this augment becomes broken because it works on both of them. At what cost? This augment will immediately level you to level 6, but in the future, you will not get to choose your future augments. It will pick the first augment rolled and force you to take it. Going to level 6 is really strong. This is basically the Cruel Pact of this set. It gives you a very high chance to win streak and an earlier peak at expensive units. Your goal with this is to go to fast 8 and then fast 9 to play legendary boards, and basically pray to Mordog that you don't low roll your augments in the future. One thing to note is that there are a lot of augments that lock you to a certain trait. The biggest case of this is the emblem augments, so that's a risky run at going at what cost because that limits your flexibility, but the potential loss isn't actually that bad. Most augments at 3-2 and 4-2 are playable in every scenario. At worst, you hope the win streak gold and the level advantage will help you balance out any bad augments you roll. Last is Incanter Crown, which gives you an Incanter emblem and a jeweled gauntlet, as well as a Syndra. With this, you play the standard Incanter reroll, but you add in a Ziggs early game to get 4 Incanter with the emblem, and later replace him with Karma. Karma is just incredibly OP. Jeweled Gauntlet is a good item because it scales with the AP from Incanter 4. The big advantage also is that it gives you a free Syndra, and you want to get Syndra in as fast as possible to stack up. This is also another copy that just goes to the 3-star count. Jeweled Gauntlet, perfectly good third item for Syndra. The Incanter emblem can go on anyone who uses AP. The best target is Nico if you're not main tanking her. If you play Nami for Eldritch, or Zillion for Frost Chrono Preserver, those are also good options. Last is the Silver Augments. After stationary support, second is Help is on the way. After 8 player comments, choose one of 4 support items. It'll give you a support item anvil, which you can pop open. Most support items are flexible with every comp. Some are going to be better than others in specific comps, and some are just going to be better than others overall. Here's the ranked list of support items by placement. You can find this on tactics.tools, stats, items, support. Another trick on tactics.tools is that you can go to stats and then explorer, type in your main carry and their desired star level, go to items, search up support, and then deselect split by item holder. This will tell you the highest placing support items for your comp if you're struggling to pick an item. Caretaker's Ally. Gain a random 2-cost champion now, and gain the same one again every time you level up. So there are 13 possible 2-costs you can get, and almost all of them are part of an S tier reroll comp right now. Nyla isn't quite S tier, but she's still really good and can get you a first place. So just look at what you get and play the reroll comp around it. This will save you a lot of gold rerolling for a specific unit. Since most of these comps you'll reroll at level 6, you're going to get 4 free copies from this augment. And once you get that 3-star, it's an extra 2 gold every time you level up. If you get Ari, there are reroll comps that can use Ari and her Arcana effect. Keeper's 1. At the start of combat, grant units with adjacent allies 175 health shield for 8 seconds. This shield stacks. So what this means is that you want to clump up all your units together like they had a Random's Omen, to get as much stacked together as possible. This is stronger in melee comps because you naturally want to put everyone together in the front line anyway. And since melee comps like Castle Reroll and Warriors are strong, this augment is strong too. You can flex it in any comp, it's not bad frontline, and it synergizes with the Vanguard trait, but it's going to be better when you can clump up all your units in the front. Silver Ticket. Gain a free shop reroll after every 4 rerolls and gain 3 gold. This is good for the exact same reasons as the Prismatic Ticket, it's just a Walmart version of it. Gaining the 3 gold can also get a 10 gold for the interest earlier. Since reroll is good, since they bank, since there's a lot of sources of free rerolls, this is good. Over Encumbered. For the next stage, you only gain 1 bench slot. After that, get 3 item components. This is the Buried Treasures 3 of Silver Augments. The extra item components really help itemizing everyone, whether it's your tank or your 2 carries, and gives you more options to pick from. The downside is that you only get 1 bench slot for the rest of the stage. This also actually includes the neutral round of Krugs. So on Krugs, if you try to pick up a unit orb, so on Krugs there's actually a decision you have to make, because if you pick up an orb that would have had units, it will instantly sell them if your bench is full, and your bench is full if you have 1 unit on your bench. So you get the gold, but you won't be able to hold the units. So you have to decide, does the gold help me reach an econ breakpoint, and do I value that more than seeing the units and possibly holding them? If you're thinking along the second line, then just leave the orb for the next round. If you're thinking around the second line, just wait until the start of the next round, and then the bench will free up, letting you pick up the orb and not transforming them into gold immediately. Since you're limited to 1 bench slot in stage 2, generally you want to play this in fast 8 comps rather than reroll comps, because in stage 2 you're not going to be able to hold more than 1 copy of a unit on your bench. Featherweights 1. Your tier 1 and 2 champions gain 15% attack speed and move speed. This is good because reroll is good. The best comp for this is the Cog Tristana Nunu Rumble, because all those 4 plus the Bastion Lilia will get the buff for this. 15% attack speed on an 80 carry comp, very strong. Risky moves. You lose 20 player health, but after 7 player comments you gain 33 gold. So you're going to get 33 gold at stage 3-3, which is a ton of money, but you do lose 20 player health. So a reason this is good is because you're at 80 health at the start of Carousel, so at the stage 2, you're actually really likely to be first pick. You can secure a really contested item on an expensive unit, whether it's tier, sword, bow, or rod, and you can leverage this to get best in slot items on your units. The 33 gold injection is just bigger than any other silver augments, so it's very strong. You generally want to play this with a win streak opener, although you can play it with a lose streak, but it's really risky. Eventually, you want to leverage the extra gold to win streak throughout the mid game and the late game. Band of Thieves. Gain 1 Thieves Gloves. Thieves Gloves is just a very strong item, especially in the early game. If you're looking for a win streak and want extra combat power, this is one of the best silvers you can get. Very flexible in every comp and a good augment to take in every stage of the game. The items offered for Thieves Gloves scale up per level. In stage 2, you're usually going to get 1 completed item and 1 component, but as you level up, it'll get better and better. If you're really interested, you can find the Thieves Gloves tables at tactics.tools, under tools and then tables, and then the last table is Thieves Gloves. Stim Pack. Gain 4 components after you lose 50 player health. Similar train of thought of over encumbered, but this happens a lot later after you lose 50 player health. Usually with this, you want to play a loose streak or full open strategy so you can get those 4 components as fast as possible. You then want to use the 4 extra components to win streak for the rest of the game. Very powerful for all the same reasons as the other component augments. Last but not least is component buffet, or component buffet as people say. Whenever you get a random component, gain a component anvil instead, you will also gain a random component. So this converts all of your components into anvils. This basically helps you pick out your best in slot items for your carries and your tanks. And no matter where best in slot is really valuable on certain units and certain comps, this augment is really good. This also converts components from any source. Some random ones are the Portal Loot subscription and the printing from Milio. So overall good augment for almost every comp, especially if your comp really values best in slot items, as well as comps that use a lot of the same component, whether it's bows, swords, tiers, you name it. The way that random components work in TFT is that there's actually a limit of each type of component that you can get. There's also a limit of the archetype of the components you can get. They're either categorized as carry components or tank components. This augment can help you easily break that rule and give you 6 bows or 6 tiers if you really wanted it. That's a wrap for the top 30 augments of patch 14.15. Don't forget to like, sub, and follow me on TikTok, Shorts, and Reels for more mini guides. Thanks for watching, and climb on.